We're on a mission with Leslie. It's your world, girl. Come on, be, belong, inspire, create, own it, pursue it, develop it.
My name is Caroline Fairweather. I am your women's empowerment speaker. I bring about the major shift in the lives of women, especially those women that have survived sexual abuse traumas. I show them how to stand up and be who they are unapologetically, stepping out and stepping up, doing what they are destined to do. I am also a contributor to an Amazon best-selling book by the title of Power of Women, Affirmation and Prayer. This book was put together by all these contributors by Tamara Hill Bennett, Miss Dr. T that's in the house tonight. And I'm so glad to have been a part of that amazing project. I'm so glad to have you guys here tonight. This subject, you see it on the screen. And if it gets a little glitchy, guys, let me know. I'll have to change my internet, but so far so good. This subject, customer service, I think you guys heard me on Monday, I think it was. I am very passionate about customer service. Very, very passionate from the perspective of the business as well as the customer. Whether you are interacting personally or professionally or as a consumer, customer service has everything to do with that. So I'm going to cover a few components tonight about customer service, lots of engagement, and we're going to start with engagement right now. In the room this morning, I asked if you would bring with you your story of a very good customer service experience and one that may have left a bad taste in your mouth. And I would like for everyone, if you have a story to share, Miss Shirley did an amazing job of sharing her great customer service, how she had to intercede with one of her employees, and it turned out to be an amazing customer for her. So if she wants to repeat that story, I would love to hear it again. And anyone else, I don't know what order we're in other than what I see. However, I would like for everyone to share your story of a very good customer service experience and a story of an experience that kind of left a bad taste in your mouth. And for me, I see Leslie is first. Leslie, do you have some stories to share with us?
Awesome. Yes. So my best customer service, for those of you that know anything about me, I am always at a Chick-fil-A. Shirley knows that because I'll be on the phone with her and I say, hold on a second, I got to order something. So I'm always at a Chick-fil-A, but the best customer service is, I want to say maybe it was 2 years ago, my youngest daughter and her friend, they went to Chick-fil-A and no, I didn't see that cookie. Can you send it to her? The one that I sent to you.
Yeah.
Because we don't have Sinead's fancy stuff tonight, so it's just me sending out the link. So if you can send that to Carol. So the best customer service was at Chick-fil-A. My daughter and her friend, they were in the line, and something happened to the car that they were in. Well, here's what happened. There were 2 Chick-fil-A employees that helped push them out of the line. So that they didn't hold up the line. But not only that, they were able to kind of calm these 2 girls down. Whatever they were ordering, they ended up getting that free. So that's just a short version. And I think I made a post on Facebook that night because I was just like blown away. So that is an extra reason why like Chick-fil-A is like my place, because not only do they have great customer service, but I think that's just taking it a step further. Of you, I mean, you're just going beyond, like, what? That's crazy. So that's like my all-time best customer service at Chick-fil-A.
So let me ask you a quick question. Upon the completion of that scenario, how did it make you feel? What they did, how did it make you feel, if you can tell us that?
Wow, made me feel that, okay, not only because the other part of Chick-fil-A is they know my name, right? They know me. Like when I pull up, hey, Miss Les, like so it was like a 360 for me, because one, they pay attention, that they know me. If I come there at a certain time, Miss Les, you're here early or you here late? So it's just a thing for me at Chick-fil-A. It really and truly, how did it make me feel? Because it was my daughter and her friend, that was safety. And to know that somebody cared, like somebody else cared, and not just me, and that they sell chicken, they sell food, there's a restaurant. So there's so much in that for me, Kara.
So how loyal are you to Chick-fil-A?
I surely am. It's funny because the other day, one of the guys in the elevator said, you go to Chick-fil-A every day? I said, I go at least once a day. At least once a day. If you see
lifetime customer, would you say?
If you see the points that I got for Chick-fil-A app, yeah, I can get all kinds of meals free.
Yeah. Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. Do you have a story of a customer service that didn't go so well, that may have left a bad taste in your mouth?
There's a local restaurant here, and it's Black owned. It's owned by somebody that goes to our church, and I had stopped going there because, like, when you on the phone, when you call an order, they do fried shrimp, and Annika likes fried shrimp, so every now and then we'll do that. And like when you call, it's like why are you bothering me? And see, I have a problem with that. But she still goes. I only do it when she's here, but when she's not here, I don't go, because I'm not spending my money where it's like, why are you bothering me? And then when you go in there, it doesn't even get any better. So my thing all the time with them is like you're really still in business, and nobody has really told you about just the way your employees really handle the customers. It's like, well, you could call or you could not call. I don't really care. Well, hell, if ain't nobody call, I don't care how much fried shrimp you selling. Ain't nobody gonna be buying, and the restaurant gonna be closed. Yeah.
Thank you for that. I appreciate it. I see Miss Charlene is next in line. Miss Charlene, what great customer service experience can you share, and one that maybe didn't go so well? What do you have to say, ma'am?
Well, I will always say, let me start with the one that didn't go so well, because it's always a bee in my bonnet. And that's GoDaddy. No matter what I hear folks say, I hold my tongue for those who love them, but whoever will listen, I say avoid them at all costs. Why? Because as I speak to professionals, alleged professionals who should know what they're doing, I feel like every time I'm on the chat or on a phone call, I have to walk them through the process of how to help me. And one particular instance was, I had a client. I already told my client I do not work with GoDaddy, but I did not want to force them off of a place that they were comfortable with and they were used to. So I told them, here are some things to ask for. Just have GoDaddy set it up for you. And the client was frustrated. They called me maybe 4 times. They sent me like 2 emails. And then I said, you know what? I'll jump on the call. And of course, it was just a whole runaround, to the point I had to ask the representative who was on the call with me, why are you here? Like, why were you hired? Are you just collecting a check? So after I let that out, I hung up the phone. I took 2 shots of whiskey. I gave myself 5 minutes, and then I called back, and then it was another person, but I don't know if it was a stroke of luck or Jesus decided to step in, but this person was an actual developer. They actually understood what we needed, and they just set it up. It didn't even take us 20 minutes, but the prior call took a whole entire hour, waiting included, just to get to nothing. So that was like my worst experience ever. My best experience was in a hotel in Jamaica, and they went to like all lengths of making sure that we were okay. They came to the room, make sure that we had what we needed. When we were going to our excursions, they made sure that everybody was gathered in the right place. We were picked up, and when we were out, on our trip and we were coming back to the hotel, we had everybody had like their groups of I guess maids or service people that would call us, and they would say, hey, are you almost here? Is everything okay? And we told them our ETA, and by the time we got back to the hotel, everyone in their room had you know, like their rooms were set up, they had a bath waiting for them, they had drinks waiting for them. So like they went out of their way to make sure that we were good and we were happy. So it made it easy to be friendly with them, because we didn't feel like every 2 seconds they were looking out with their hand stretched out. Like they knew they would be taken care of if we were taken care of, which happened. So that was like one of my best customer experience ever. They just took care of us.
I love it. Thank you so much for sharing. Before I go on to Cookie, Miss Latricia, are you able to chime in? Don't want to skip you. She may still be under the dryer.
You can skip me. I'm still under the dryer.
Okay, just want to acknowledge you. Thank you for being here. Miss Cookie, what is your best customer service and that customer service experience that left a bad taste in your mouth? Please share.
Well, you know what? Those that were with us in Florida know that my pet peeve is dealing with those damn bots on customer service line. So I can't stand the bots, because if I call and I say representative, damn it, give me a representative, because I don't need you to keep saying, I'll help you if you tell me what the problem is. Bitch, just put a representative on the line, just a live person. I don't want to talk to you. And so I have a problem with all these AI bots, because I occasionally am driving and I'll be talking to somebody on the phone, and on my watch, Siri starts fucking chiming in like I said something to her, and I don't appreciate it. So stop listening to my damn calls. Stop listening to my conversations. Like I had my husband turn off that damn Nest or Alexa or whatever it is in our bathroom, because he uses it to listen to music. But I can be talking and it just starts acting, well, you didn't have this, or you want this, or I ain't talking to you. I haven't even said a word to you. Now, ordinarily, when I want to ask her something, Siri does not respond. I cannot do that while you're driving. Well, what the fuck use are you? And so I just have a real pet peeve with these damn AI bots. So I hate the corporations that have put them on full time, because I think it's just ridiculous that you can't get zero and just hit and get the zero and just get a real live person. That's one of my biggest pet peeves. In terms of outstanding customer service, I'm with Leslie. I think Chick-fil-A is one of the best fast food places on the planet. I also can't stand going to these ghetto ass Burger Kings and McDonald's, and them bitches look at you like you causing them a problem, and you paying their damn salary. I can't stand it. So I don't like going to these hood ass fast food joints. I love Chick-fil-A. I'll go there any day. But all the rest of that stuff, I can't do it. So that's my stuff.
Thank you for your candid.
Carol, a second, hold on. For those of you that just experienced me like that, that is what we experienced when we was in Florida.
I can't. It just makes me mad. It does. It does. Because when you take the time, so first of all, I'm not one of those people that I try to solve my own problems before I get anybody else involved. But when I pick up the phone and call, I ain't got time to be dealing with all this AI. I'll help you better if you tell me what the problem. No,
I hear you.
give me a live person.
I hear
So,
you.
yeah, big pet peeve.
I can get on that step with you, Miss Cookie. I try to find the quickest way to get to a person, because no, I'm not paying for a robot. I'm paying for a person, right?
Yeah.
Miss Shirley, what do you have to share with us this evening?
You know, I got to get myself together first. I'll sit next to that first hand. Representative, bitch, representative. I had asked you, so I had to recover. So I'm gonna share my recent story of good first. So my recent story of good was I took a trip down to Fuquay, North Carolina, to take my granddaughter home on New Year's Eve day, about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, 2:30 in the afternoon. I get a flat tire. and I call service. First guy called, he said it'd be about 1 hour and 50 minutes, ma'am. And my rate is $85. And I didn't even ask him the rate. He just told me everything. It'll be about 1 hour and 50 minutes, ma'am. My rate is $85. If I can't change your tire, I have to tell you. He's telling me all the information. And then I said, okay, well, thank you. You know, and I'm mad right now. So I was like, okay, thank you. Right. And then he said, but ma'am, if it's okay with you, can I call you back if I get done earlier? And I was like, yeah, sure. Yeah, why not? Sure. Not thinking anything of it, that I was sure I was going to get someone else. So then I called one other place and they said 125. And if you need this, it's this. And they just started getting deep in my pocket. And then I got madder. So then I called my son-in-law and he was too lazy to come out. And then he said, but if you're still making payments on your car, you have roadside assistance. I've been traveling for 20 plus years up and down them southern highways in 95. I never had a problem, never needed roadside assistance. Didn't even know what the heck it was. I heard the commercials, to be honest. So I called them. My insurance company said, oh yeah, you know, just call them and blah, blah, blah. So I did that. And each one said 125 to 185, but longer time periods. Then I got to one who said I could be there in about 1 hour and 20 minutes. I said, okay, fine. So I took him. And then that gentleman called me back a half an hour later. And he said, ma'am, if you remember, you called me. I said $85. He said his name. My name is Doreen or Darlene, somebody, Donzel. He said, my name is Donzel. And I asked, could I call you back? I hope I'm not disturbing you. But if you still need me, I would be happy to come and take care of you. And I said, what? I said, hold on. So I got my other phone, I picked up my other phone and I called the people and I said, cancel that. And they didn't answer. I was trying to say, cancel that. So then I went back to, you know, like you follow the tracking of where the truck is. And I said, please cancel. I emailed my insurance company, said, please cancel. I said, come on right now. He said, I'll be there in 32 minutes. And when he came, it was pouring rain. And I jumped out of the car and I was telling my granddaughter, go inside the building because, you know, they're going to jack the car up. He said, ma'am, she'll be safe. I put safety blockers under there. Please stay comfortably in the car. And I said, well, I got you. I got a big umbrella. He said, ma'am, that's okay. I don't want you uncomfortable. I'll take care of this. I said, I got you. I used to own a trucking business. I got you, boo. And he said, all right, then. And then he said, well, you know, and he just started talking, asked me where I'm from, how I'm doing. And I was like, what a night. And you could tell he had a little baby face, right? I wasn't hitting on him like typically. I was listening. And so he had a beautiful baby face. And he said, ma'am, I want to, and he told me while he's jacking up, trying to fight to get a lug knot off. He said, I want to thank you for allowing me to come out here. And I was like, who is he and where is he from? I know there's Southern hospitality. So it was a great experience. And I am a master of customer service. I could fix anything, turn it around, close that sale, do whatever I needed to do in my past business. But that was beautiful customer service. And so when I went to pay him, we exchanged business cards. I told him, you know, call me anytime, late nights, I'm up. I asked me anything you want because he wanted to go into the same scrap business and things that I'd done. And I said, it would be my pleasure. Tell me his whole story about his kid and his life. And I was like, I would love to help you. So we exchanged cards. And I gave him his tip, but I had it rolled up. And he said, well, ma'am, do you need some change? And I said, no, take care. Thank you so much. He said, and ma'am, listen, I only had 20% pressure in the car. I put it up to 65, 70, but don't drive more than about 5 hours on it. And don't go over 45 miles an hour. I don't care what the speed limit says. Be safe. I was like, you know what? I love that. So when he got in the car, he realized how much I had given him. And he jumped out the car and he said, ma'am, you gave me too much. And I paid him the 125 that everybody else asked. And I said, no, I didn't. That's what you need to start charging. Don't be cheap. Make money, baby. So that was a beautiful story.
It was very good. Hey, what about a poor customer service experience?
Oh, sweet Jesus. It's always in a fast food restaurant. I ain't got no patience because I flipped burgers for many years. And I used to be an assistant manager at Howdy Partner. Can I take your order, Roy Rogers? And so when people, when I went in one time and I asked for what I wanted, Jasmine never ate pickles, mustard, ketchup. She just wanted the burger and cheese, nothing on it. I go inside, I order it from the window. I said, please, just a burger, just meat and cheese, no condiments, no nothing on it. Okay, ma'am. We get the order. I pull up past because I always check. It had condiments all on it and pickles. Oh, Lord, Jasmine can't see pickles. I go inside. And they look at me. Everybody's walking past me, picking up papers, doing everything else, but not coming to me. And I'm just patting my finger and my hand. And then finally I said, hello, is there a manager here? And she said, oh, yes, ma'am. How can I help you? I said, well, first you could notice that there's a customer standing here for a few minutes. And there's no other customer in the building, but nobody came to me. I said, but I ordered this. It says, the receipt says no pickle, no onion, no ketchup, but it's all on there. Oh, okay. Well, hold on a minute. So she goes to the back. She tells them whatever. They make it again. She doesn't check it as a manager. She brings it out, gives it to me. I open it up, pickles. I said, ma'am, nothing but meat and cheese. She said, well, we have a procedure here. I said, you have a procedure to listen to the customer.
That's right.
How many times can I say, please, no condiments, just meat and cheese? Well, I'm sorry, we're not just, and she said it. And she was at this time, she was about 35 years old. She said, I'm sorry, it's just difficult to deal with people who have special requests. And I wish I could have found a better manager at that moment in time, but they didn't have anyone. So that was like the worst ever. Because not at one point does she ever say, I'm so sorry, or we'll take care of this. You know what? I'm going to give you 2 for her. I'm going to give you some fries, something to make me feel better. 1, you ignored me. 2, you did it wrong twice. And so it just annoyed me. So I never went back into that store again, ever, till this day.
Don't blame you. I don't blame you at all. I see Dr. T has her hand up. Dr. T, you want to go next?
Sure. Hello, everyone. Sorry I could not introduce myself. I am the founder of several businesses. One is an eye care, one is a beauty line, and most recently during the pandemic, sustainable coaching business, Christian life and coaching business. So, and I use my creativity and ministry to help people get unblocked and unstuck, and to help them see their vision through to empower them to get through whatever is going on in their lives so they can make it happen. Amen. So
Dr.
with that,
before you start, because I have like 1, 2, 3, 4 more people to go, if you can abbreviate your story, I'd appreciate it.
I will. That's real short.
Okay.
Most recently is College Hunks. It's a trucking company. They come and help remove your stuff. I really, really enjoyed them. I mean, I pointed to everything. They came and even, had some conversation. I want to say that I didn't know that, I think they're franchisees, but the gentleman that was here, when I was like, hey, I not only said for a room, but can y'all come in the basement and see if y'all can remove all this? He was like, sure. I was like, well, can you just tell me what a quote would be? He was like, it's just going to be the whole truck because what it looks like. And I was like, okay, let's do that. But I had like paint and all that stuff like that. And he was like, well, I'm going to have to charge you. And I was like, well, leave the paint here. He was like, no, I'm not going to charge you. But what I do recommend, I think I posted it. What I do recommend is that anytime that you have paint or any liquids, you put kitty litter inside. And I said, well, what in the nonsense is that? I was like, but isn't it still the paint inside? He said, no, we just put some kitty litter in it and they won't charge you for that. And I think I had like a couple of old TVs, and he was like, I'm not going to charge you for that. So I really, really loved that. Bad was a fast food restaurant way back. I remember my experience way back in New York, a Chinese restaurant, and the actual soda looked like it was opened when she handed it to me. And I wasn't really a Christian then, and so I asked for her so I can get another one, and she wouldn't let me. So I opened it up and poured it all on the counter and left.
I love it. Okay, thank you, Dr. T. Abby, I see you here. Are you able to chime in to tell us about your good and not so good customer service experience, please, ma'am?
So I'm going to make it really quick. Best experience anywhere, anytime, Ritz-Carlton. Doesn't matter which one you go to, which state, which country, they're always amazing and on point. Everything from the details of pillow gifts, if you're doing any kind of stay, to just concierge service, everything about them, amazing. I'm going to go against some folks here. Worst experience is Chick-fil-A. I don't know how people like Chick-fil-A. But the Chick-fil-A where I live, they've decided that the best way to handle the lines is to not let me get a chance to look at my menu and select something different every time. They're now meeting me almost to the beginning of the line and taking my order. Nobody's handing me a menu. So I'm constantly only ordering based on what's in my head. And I hate that because it doesn't give me an opportunity to have a real experience.
Mhm.
So what that's done is minus my points that I have that I'm trying to get rid of right now. Chick-fil-A is probably going to lose me as a customer. That's
Thank you. And that you are going against the grain. But I can absolutely see how that would be irritating, right? So thank you for sharing that. I think that enriched emblem is Miss Tina. Miss Tina, is that you there? Are you able to share this evening? Okay, maybe she's not near. Oh, there she is.
Yeah, I was eating my carrot hot dog with this pecan chili that I made. Yes. So I was stuffing down my face.
No worries. Good customer service and poor customer service experience. If you can give us a brief recap on that, that'd be great.
Okay, so good customer service. I was at Chick-fil-A, and I know the Chick-fil-A in my neighborhood. I mean, I'm telling you, they're on it, you know. But I do this new experience with that line. It is something. But Chick-fil-A, anytime I ever go, even when I was outraged, they gave me good customer service. Bad customer service. My daughter was a part of a cheerleading group, and the people who owned the agency ran out of the tops, and they did not want to reimburse me my money back because of their running out. And I ordered in time, way on time, and paid the money. They send in this small tops, and that's all we have. So your daughter's gonna have to squeeze into this little top.
What?
As cheerleader. And I was like, absolutely not. And they was kind of like irate, and they would not give me my money back. And so the coach ended up giving me the money back. But the company, and I said, y'all should not order for them anymore because you all ran out. Then they just sent whatever size they had.
Wow.
And that was poor customer service.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. Thank you so much. Let's see. I think I have Sharon. I'm not sure if she's able to speak, but if you are Sharon, feel free to share.
She said she was just listening in.
Okay. Christina, are you able to share? Maybe I don't know if she's at work tonight or not. If she doesn't respond, I'm going to think that she's not able to share. Okay. No worries. No worries. Thank you, everybody. There's a common thread in these stories that you have shared. They're all services where people are very engaged with them, right? There were a few, the uniform place, but it's still people, right? Not so much services, but I should say they are providing a service, but services that are very connected to the community. It's not like, a tire change or gas. Nobody said a gas pump, right? No one said a Costco type place. It's places where there's very close interaction with people. So customer service, what is the big deal anyway? And I think all of you have identified with your stories that customer service is very important, regardless if you are getting it from the guy that's doing the tow for you and fixing your tire, or the uniform company. Customer service is hugely important. So by the time I finish this session tonight, I hope I'll be able to supply you with some new tools and tips to manage when it comes to customer service. We already know how great it is to get customer service, good customer service from anyone. So the idea, though, is also for us to be able to deliver great customer service, because you are a person who are interacting with your clients and whomever. So we're going to dig into that tonight. So let's just do this. Let's do this. So let's see if I can get this chat window out of my way so I can see here. Why is providing quality customer service so important? Well, we already know it provides a very good first impression, right? A lot of people say, well, first impression, last impression. How many here, just by raising your hand, how many here buy into that? First impression is your last impression. By raising your hand, either on the icon or just raising your hand physically, do you buy into first impression is your last impression? Okay, looks like I have one person that says they buy into it, 2 people, 3 people, 4 people. Okay, so about half the group believe that. I can't say that I totally subscribe to that. I believe you do have a second opportunity, but you're going to have to work twice as hard to gain that customer's trust, right? So that would be my approach about that, my thought process on that. It develops a rapport. Leslie said that they know her by name when she comes there. They ask her, is she early or late? Because they kind of know what time of the day she's going to show up, right? So she has developed a rapport with Chick-fil-A. I'm sure some of you have some other entities that you too have developed a rapport with. It establishes your brand. You being the business, you being that entity that is delivering a service, delivering a product, you are establishing your brand of customer service. Miss Shirley, I can't help but keep going back to that story about her account, her bookkeeper. The bookkeeper who had 0 personality for customer service answered the phone, but she identified right away. She said she wished she could have been Casper the Ghost to go through the wall to get to that person, because she understood, this is my business, this is my brand. I can't have her to destroy what I've been building just because she doesn't know how to answer a phone. We are more likely, I say, to get better responses from our customers when we deliver great customer service to them. It is a two-way street with customer service. You as the customer and you as the person delivering the service, customer service goes both ways. And finally, do you agree your customer expects it? Does your customer expect great customer service no matter what it is that you're delivering to them? Yes, I think so too. So let's move on with that. I'm trying not to, because I got 12 slides and I'm trying not to belabor the hour, because you know how we do things. I'm trying not to do that tonight. Do you have what it takes? Do you have what it takes to deliver great customer service? So on the left side, we have some successful attributes. On the right side, we have some unsuccessful attributes. At the very top of each side, you see the word attitude. I think you already identified. If my attitude is great, if it's chipper, I'm able to deliver that level of customer service. Whereas if my attitude is stinky, what's the word somebody said earlier? I can't remember it right now, but it's a bad attitude. You know already, you have set the tone for that interaction between you and your customer by having a poor attitude. Good communication on the successful side, empathetic, organized, team-oriented, and a plethora of other attributes can have you in a position to deliver great customer service. You have what it takes. Whereas on the right-hand side, being unsuccessful, poor communication, you're selfish, like the person at the restaurant with the burger, Miss Shirley, where they could care less what you wanted, right? They were just trying to avoid you, if anything else, because they knew somebody had messed up. Selfish, unorganized. How many times have you been on the phone with somebody and they say, can you hold on a minute, please? Can you hold on? I'm really not sure. I'm new here. Can you listen, right? And then tunnel vision. Tunnel vision. You'll only see one way, like which Charlene was sharing with that first customer service person. They had no clue how to solve her problem and weren't trying to find out. So they had tunnel vision. Whenever you have someone that you're interacting with, and no matter how many times you tell your story, they interpret it wrong, okay, it's time to speak to somebody else. So do you have what it takes? Do your employees have what it takes? Your VAs, the VA that's delivering service for your company, do they have what it takes? Have you vetted them out to make sure what you want them to deliver, the way you want it to be delivered, is being delivered? Have you done that? If you haven't, I suggest you do, because I've interacted with a few VAs and I'm just saying. So when it comes down to the most overlooked component of good customer service, in the chat, I want everybody to do this. In the chat, tell me what you think it is before I reveal it. What do you think it is, the most overlooked component of good customer service? Put it in the chat for me. I see a smile. What's next? Compassion. What else? One of the most overlooked components of good customer service, eye contact. Okay, what else? Training, listening. Okay, knowledge. All right. The top number though, the top one is, and I don't know if you're going to be surprised or not. Okay, are you coming up? There it is. RESPECT. Respect me as your customer, right? Respect me. Each of you have stories of, like with Miss Abby at the Chick-fil-A. They didn't respect her enough as a customer who probably goes there all the time, right? To give her a menu and give her time to think of what she wants. She doesn't want the same thing today. She wants something different. Are we respecting our clients? Are we respecting our potential clients? Are we being a respectful customer ourselves, even when we're irate? Like Miss Tina said, she was irate at the Chick-fil-A, but they still treated her nice. So it's a two-way street. So RESPECT is the number one most overlooked component of good customer service. Moving on. Woo! What's this all about on this picture here? Would you guys like to talk to her? Would you? I mean, is there any real good communication going on here? Exactly, Ms. Shirley, right? So how we communicate, what we communicate. There's not a whole lot of good communication, cursed out somebody just said. So there's not a whole lot of good communication going on here, would you say? The phone is not to her ear. She's shouting in the receiver. The other person on the other line probably shouting too. She doesn't hear what they say. They hear what she says, but just a whole hot mess. A whole hot mess. She is not listening. She absolutely isn't. And if you have anybody around you that's carrying on like this, exit, turn on your heels and exit the door, because they are not there to help. Absolutely, Ms. T, Dr. T, fired. Okay, hold on one second, y'all. I'm keep hitting this thing. I think I'm going too fast. Nope, that was it. So when it comes to listening, what is the impact? Someone just said that already. What is the impact when you carefully listen in an interaction with your customer, potential customer, even interpersonally? What's the impact of listening? Well, you guys already know this. You get clear, concise, complete, correct information. Literally, because what are you doing? You're listening, not just hearing them. You hear what the words coming out of their mouth, but you're not paying attention to tell me what the words were that were coming out of their mouth. So really intently paying attention so that you get a clear message. You are communicating a concise message. Why? Because you're listening and your message was complete and correct. Otherwise, you're going to be lost, unsure, and unclear. Your customer will be. Because whomever they're interacting with, including ourselves, if we're not listening, not hearing, there's a difference between here. What's the difference? Let me ask y'all, what's the difference between hearing and listening? Real quick, if you can put it in the chat or just chime in verbally, what's the difference between hearing and listening? Anybody? Don't know. Okay, somebody said don't know the difference. That's okay. Go ahead, listen.
No, I was just gonna say, listening is really, I look at that as a two-way conversation, and hearing is just waiting for you to jump in to say something. That's, I don't know if I explained that correctly.
Yes, thank you. See, some people put some stuff in the chat, comprehension of the issue. Yes, I agree. Listening is hearing for comprehension. Exactly. Hearing is just using the senses. Exactly. So I said connecting at a heart level, because if I'm paying attention, I'm really connected at the heart of what you have to say, because I'm all in. I'm fully in. I'm looking at you. I'm keeping my mouth closed and I'm totally absorbing what you have to say. Listening at a heart level. You got my attention. I'm not just doing stuff and just looking at you, making you think that I'm listening to you. I have ceased doing everything. I'm giving you 100% of my attention, and I'm shutting my mouth so you can get your whole message out. Very important part of customer service. So we want this side. We want a clear, concise, complete communication. Moving on, come on, in the other direction. There we go. Listening better. So here we go. Another activity for you. You will be rating yourselves 1 through 5. One, you can either write them down, put them in the chat, whatever you have to do. It doesn't matter. Thank you, Leslie. So listening better. There are 5 squares there on each one. I'm going to read them just to read them. Rate yourself 1 to 5 on each of these slides I'm about to read. Do you let people finish speaking before you speak? Rate yourself 1 to 5. Do you allow people to finish their complete statement before you start speaking? Next, keep up with your numbers now because I got something to tell you at the end. Do you refrain from judging people or their ideas before they are finished speaking? Do you keep your judgments to yourself and stop judging before a person is finished speaking? Next, do you stop what you're doing and give your full attention? A work in progress, I hear you. Do you stop what you are doing and give your full attention to anybody? Doesn't matter whether it's interpersonally or professionally. What's your score? Next, do you really listen regardless of the person's manner of speaking? Regardless of their manner of speaking, what do you give them do you really listen? Do you give them your full attention regardless of their way of speaking? Whether they have an accent, they what's they call it, ebonics, whatever. Do you give them your full attention? They have an accent, or even if they don't speak the language, are you still trying to give them your full attention? Finally, do you rephrase or restate what the person said to you for clarity? Do you rephrase or restate what the person said to you for clarity? Or are you just assuming what they say and walk away to try and solve the problem? Rate yourself.
Speaking of, what
Yes?
is the scale? How does the scale go? 1 means what? 5 means what?
1 is I'm not real good at it. 5 means, yeah, I got this. My apologies for not supplying you with that information. 1, I'm not good at it. I'm a work in progress. Or 5, I got that on lock. What do you say for yourself? Your husband hates this. Well, tell him he need to listen anyway.
Yeah, like he thinks is belittling him when I'm repeating what he says. I'm like, I'm trying to understand what you're saying and make sure I got it right. A lot of
Exactly.
people don't like that too. Even some of my customers didn't like it.
Yeah. Some people do take it as a demeaning thing when it really isn't. It's just me making sure, because we all comprehend differently. So making sure that you understand by repeating, I think is the thing to do. So total your score, whatever it is, just total your score. If you scored anywhere from 19, because 25 is the highest you can get, from 19 to 25, I'd say you are an amazing listener. I'd say you are an amazing listener. If you scored anywhere from 19 to 25, you are an amazing listener. If you scored anywhere from 14 to 18, not bad, but you got some areas you can tighten up on. Anything less than 14, you got a few extra areas that you can tighten up on. I think these 5 questions are an excellent barometer for you to determine, are you a good listener? Because how can you solve the problem if you're not listening well? Right? How can you solve the problem if you're not listening well? You can't. I would sashay my hips off trying to solve something that I halfway understand, right? Because I'm assuming instead of listening and asking the right questions to confirm that I get it, okay? So hopefully somebody got a 20. Shut your mouth. I love it. Some folks come out their necks, so it's hard. I hear you, Charlene. I hear you. They do. But see, because we have an understanding, it is hard and it takes practice. But we have an understanding. You are either delivering a service or you're receiving a service. You're either delivering a service or you're receiving a service, but you're still a customer. on one end of that or the other. And keeping in mind that that is the case, we want to interact in a way that improves the interaction. Sometimes you just get downright irritated, but even in your irritation, there's a way to deliver that without getting irate. I think I heard Christine say this morning that when things are not going as she desires, she drops her voice a few octaves and get into that deep voice to really get their attention. There are many ways that we can use to get a person's attention when we're not getting the service that we deserve. But also remember, as a business person, are you doing what you are upset that the other person is doing as a business owner? Are you guilty of it? Are you guilty of it? Look at that retrospectively. All right, let's see. Cookie said, yes, I'm a Carib Floridian who's been marinated in New York. All right, guys. So here are the numbers. Here are the numbers. I wanted to give you some percentages. When it comes to face-to-face communication, there's three main components of face-to-face communication. The first one being the verbal part. Believe it or not, though, when you have a face-to-face interaction, only 7% of your words are getting through. 7%, like what? Wait, hold on. All the words I use, only 7%. Yes, ma'am. Only 7%. Why? Because 55%, they are paying attention to your body language. Your body language. What does your facial expression look like? Are your arms folded in front of you while you're talking to that person? Are you got your weight shifted to one side or the other? Is your stance one of confrontational, or is your stance one of welcoming and warmth? So for that face-to-face interaction, 55% of your interaction is the body language that's being paid attention to. And then finally, 38%, the tonality, your attitude. So in a face-to-face interaction, only 7% of your words are getting through. Choose your words carefully. Don't even waste them, because only 7% are getting through. Whereas your body language, and even if you think about a scenario, I'm sure when that person came out the door to come and talk to you, you and their body language was funky, you already got an attitude. Their hands on their hip come to talk to you, you got an attitude ready for them already. Why? Because you're observing the body language. So when they come to you to talk, you're not really paying attention to what they are saying, because you're paying attention to the body language and their voice tone. Yes, ma'am, how can I help you today? Oh, hell no. No, you're not talking to me like that. They may be telling you everything you need to know, spot on. But your voice tone and your body language, now you're paying attention to your words. They're about to get ready to get a boxing with you, because everything says confrontational, as opposed to, how can I help you today? My name is Caron. I apologize for the situation you're going through. Tell me about it, please. Let's see how we can resolve it. Well, y'all should have blah, blah, blah. Let them be. Let them y'all should have all you want. But making sure your body language is communicating what you like to be communicated to you if you were the one that was upset or you were the one seeking information. So think about that. Now, here are some other numbers to digest, you guys. We literally believe what we see over what we hear. Forgot about that part. Moving on. Telephone communication. There are some components to communication when it comes to the telephone. Oh my goodness. So 18% of your words are being paid attention to over the phone. So 18%, that leaves 82% to go into what? Your vocal tonality. How are you saying those words? Are you over enunciating? Are you slowing down your pace when you speak? Are you checking in with the person calling to see if they understand what you're saying? Is that okay? Is that clear to you? Do I need to repeat anything? Without sounding condescending, though, of course, right? So the accents, yes, they do play a role, Abby. Absolutely, they do. So if you know you have a heavy accent, maybe, just a suggestion, slowing down over enunciating, using words that maybe not so complicated to say when you have an accent. I don't have one, so these are just suggestions. No harm, no foul, just some suggestions. Again, accent, I use mine to mesmerize. Oh, I like that. Listen, and that could be the trick, right? To get their attention, because who is it, Shonda? My goodness, she'll have every dollar I have if I was on the phone with her because of her voice, right? Because her voice is so soothing, so everything. So I can't talk to her. I cannot talk to her. She'll have every dollar I have. So when it comes to the numbers, you saw the numbers when it came to the face-to-face communication back here. 7% verbal, 55 visual, 38 vocal versus over the phone. And me personally, when I was delivering this in I don't do it anymore, but in the corporation, when it came to the phone customer service, I spent a lot of time on that. Because Ms. Shirley made a point today that even when you're speaking over the phone, to make sure you're smiling. The company where I was at, they gave all those that worked in the facilities mirrors about this big. And that mirror needed to be near your phone so you can see what you look like, because how you look, that's probably how you sound over the phone. How you look is probably how you sound over the phone. And it worked, because if you looked at this and said, oh, dang, let me smile. Right? Oh, and another one, chewing and drinking just before you answer a phone. Stop it. That's all I'm going to say about that. Phone etiquette. Here are some suggestions for phone etiquette. And we're getting almost to the end, everyone. Thank you so much for your engagement in the chat and everybody responding. I really hope there is a value add to this information being offered to you this evening. So phone etiquette. Answer every call professionally with a suggested 4-part greeting. A pleasant buffer, the name of your company or department, your name. How can I help you today? Just as the bottom has an example, good morning. Thank you for calling A Better Way. This is Joe. How can I help you today? Something of that nature. And if you have a VA doing it for you, your calls for you, please make sure your VA is doing this the way that you have them to do it. They are representing you. Call them yourself as if you were a customer and see what they're doing, because you want to be represented well. This is just a suggestion, whatever works best for you and your organization, but please making sure that there's a professional greeting and train everybody. Like Miss Shirley says, and Miss Shirley, she's giving me so many points, I keep referencing her. She knew her bookkeeper was not the one to be answering the phone. So if you have someone like that, do not make them part of your customer service department, okay? Moving on, make a positive impact. Make a positive impact. Be prepared before you answer or make a call. Have that positive energy in your voice. You don't have to be screaming, but make sure your voice is audible and clear. Enunciate your words. As I said already, smile when you speak. Use professional customer-focused words. What do I mean by customer-focused words? Anybody? What do I mean by that? Customer-focused words. Yes, you do, Charlene. When you're on the phone, your attitude, your tone, all needs to say, hey, I'm ready to work for you today. So what do I mean by customer-focused words? Go ahead.
Do you mean like anything that's focused on their needs and their care?
Yes, absolutely. Whatever their reason for calling, if your business is about brushes, then use phrases in reference to brushes that they will understand. We don't want to talk over the patient's head. Even if your vernacular is such where you use those words out of the dictionary that I have to look up, try not to do that over the phone, okay? Try not to do that over the phone. Those simple terms, not dummying them down, but just terms that are very focused on why they would be calling you. And finally, demonstrate courtesy and respect for the person throughout the entire phone call, no matter what they are doing. Show them what you would like to receive in return. Show them what you like to receive in return, because I guarantee you that customer will call back at another time and say, I was talking to Shirley, or I was talking to Leslie, or I was talking to Abby. Can I talk to her again? Is she available? Why? Because you gave them the great service that they deserve as your customer. Yes, use their name, Abby. Once you get their name, use it throughout the interaction. What does that do? That gives them ownership and let them know you care about them because you're absolutely using their name. Now, don't mispronounce their names because, don't mispronounce their name. Don't call them Karen when it's Karen. Don't do that. Do not do that. Use the last name if you can pronounce the last name, okay? All right, moving on from there. So what about that angry customer, though? I apologize for this being blurred. I don't know what happened there, but the angry customer. The angry customer, the one is just keeps talking and keeps talking and keeps talking and saying what they're going to do now. I'm not talking like some of these people we've been seeing on TikTok that's throwing things and carrying on. Dial 911. That's the best advice I can give you. Okay, dial 911. But for that customer who is legitimately upset and needs some attention, I used to be in the hospital and patients would come in upset with those bills. And these are some of the steps that I learned to apply when it comes to interacting. Just listen first. Introduce yourself. What is the issue? And give them that eye-to-eye contact and just listen. Allow the calm to come because you know what? Once they see they have your attention, you are listening to them and appropriately interjecting some questions, they're going to start to calm down because they feel like they have your attention. Ask resolution-focused questions. Get those details to find out what has them so upset in the first place. Then do something about it and follow up. The best customer service to me is when I have an issue, they can't resolve it right then, but they contact me after the fact. Ms. Fairweather, we've done X, Y, and Z. Just want to make sure you can see it on your side. I feel like a valued customer at that point because they reached out to me and let me know what they're doing or what they couldn't do that may take a little bit longer, but they followed up with me. Yes, love that when people do that. So are you doing that though? Think about it because it's a two-way street. When you're interacting with someone, are you following up with them? Are you telling them what the next steps are? So we must be a customer in both directions. Set a new standard, that Chick-fil-A standard. Set that for your company, for your organization, for your, what do they call it, solopreneur. Set the standard, the expectation. Now, will it take a little bit more from you? Yes, it will. But will you reap the benefits from it? You absolutely will. And if you have a team, if that problem came up once, it has come up before, you just did not come to your attention. Have a team huddle. Talk about it. What was the resolution? How did we finish? How did we get through that? How did we even get here? Why is this a problem? So talk about it with your team and come up with a plan to avoid the initial problem from happening again so that you don't have that mess to come up in your organization. Let's make it right. These are some suggested comments that we can make to a person without absolutely taking ownership of taking blame of the problem, but absolutely recognizing that there is a problem. My apologies, you were inconvenienced. I apologize for this situation. I'm sorry this didn't meet your expectations. I'm sorry you feel you weren't treated fairly. I apologize for the confusion. So just a couple of suggestions of comments that we can make to our upset, angry customer without saying, yeah, I did that. It doesn't matter who did it at this point. Let's resolve it. Let's resolve it. I don't particularly care for the word sorry, but I couldn't figure out what other word other than apologize to put there. I just don't. You rarely will hear me say the word sorry. I just don't care for it. But whatever word that you can put there that will let your patient know that you're trying to meet their expectation of making it a better experience for them, that's the word to use. That is the word to use. And we are at the end. Customer service. It is a big deal.
Say it geeky, yeah.